The sun, source of all life on Earth, but for some, it can be deadly. The girl who lives in the dark is a victim of a rare form of one of the world's most terrifying disorders, affecting millions each year: skin cancer. But her shocking condition may one day lead to finding a cure. This is the story of how a doctor from London, NASA scientists in Florida, and surgeons in Shanghai all came together in a bid to enable a girl who lives in the dark to rejoin society, and of how their efforts became a desperate battle to save her life. Every year, more than 200 million people head for the sun. Scientists believe that exposure to UV light might trigger the release of chemicals called endorphins, which make us feel good, despite the dangers. Skin cancer statistics have risen at such an alarming rate that now one person dies of skin cancer every single hour. But one little girl may help provide the key to a solution. For her, just a brief moment in sunlight can set off a chain of events that will kill her, unless something is done about it quickly. This is Wubao. It's a poor farming village in one of the most remote and undeveloped parts of southeastern China. In early 2005, a tour guide traveling through this province heard about a 9-year-old girl who had suffered such an extreme reaction to sunlight that she had become horribly disfigured and now was forced to live in the dark. The girl's name was Lao Yang, and the tour guide was so shocked by her appearance that she sent photographs to skin specialists around the world seeking help. In London, at Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children, Dr. David Atherton is Chief Pediatric Dermatologist, specializing in children with crippling skin disorders.
So were they thinking you might be able to eat more?
I think to do dermatology you have to be a little bit different from other people. However terrible skin looks, some people will find it really impossible to look at and feel sick, and it has never really affected me like that, so I can deal with it. So I can be more help to patients who have that kind of problem.
In September 2005, the pictures of Lao Yang reached Dr. Atherton's computer.
It's clear from the pictures that I've seen that she is dreadfully disfigured. She has a number of tumours on her face, but it's not possible from the photographs to judge what depth it penetrates to.
And they are almost certainly malignant tumours. That is, that if they're left untouched, they will burrow away until they hit a blood vessel. And if that happens, then the patient is liable to bleed to death. So it's a frightening prospect, and to be honest, it's something that could happen at any time now.
Lao Yang is in need of urgent medical intervention, but she's unlikely to get it. In China, there's no national health service, and as her father is a poor labourer, he has been unable to afford the necessary treatment. That's why her tumours have continued to develop. Dr. Atherton contacts colleagues at a hospital in China to try to come to Lao Yang's aid before it's too late. Using a week of his annual leave, he flies to Shanghai, from where he'll have to spend 2 days journeying across China to reach Lao Yang's remote village. First, it's a 2.5-hour flight southeast. Skin cancer is caused by the ultraviolet radiation in sunlight. There are now more new cases of skin cancer every year than colon, breast, lung, and prostate cancer combined. But still, less than 1/3 of adults use protection, when even one blistering attack of sunburn in childhood more than doubles the chance of later having a melanoma. And if left untreated, that can grow into the extreme facial disfigurement of Lao Yang. But Dr. Atherton has additional reasons for coming to her aid.
I've been interested in China through an interest in the possible benefits of Chinese herbal medicine for skin diseases. And I married a Chinese herbal practitioner who had been helping with the research that we were doing. And so I now have 2 half Chinese children. I have Chinese grandparents, so I don't think I'm turning Chinese, but on my way.
After 2 days of traveling, he finally reaches Wubao. But it seems news that a Western doctor is coming to help Lao Yang has already reached the villagers. Before being allowed into the village to see his patient, the doctor has to pass through a series of ceremonial gates. To gain right of passage, he has to empty an ox horn filled with homemade 80% proof alcohol. 3 times, at every single gate he comes to.
I don't know how many more of these gates we have to go through and how many huge draughts of rice wine we have to drink, but it is an amazing welcome. Never expected anything like this. It's very touching, but it also shows that all these people care about her. I only hope we can help Wan Lao as much as clearly everybody hopes. Too much rice wine, I'm afraid, but for precision.
The village is 2,000 feet above sea level, meaning a 15-fold increase in ultraviolet radiation levels. Even in the late afternoon, they are dangerously high. But Lao Yang is still determined to come out of the dark to meet the doctor.
Yeah, this one Lao Yang. Hello, ni hao, ni hao. Now, the people here have applied herbal medicines to her face, so she has herbs applied on her face to try to improve the situation. But what alarms me is how rapidly everything has advanced, even since the photographs that were taken in November. Well, this girl needs help quickly. It's very distressing. But you can see she wants to be a normal child.
Wanting to keep Lao Yang out of the sunlight, the doctor arranges to meet the family back at home later on. Dr. Atherton believes that the reason why Wan Lao Yang has developed such an extreme condition is because she suffers from a rare genetic skin disorder called xeroderma pigmentosum, or XP. People with XP cannot repair the damage caused by UV, making them 2,000 times more likely to develop skin cancer. Left untreated, the resulting tumors can double in size every few days, and the only way to avoid this happening is to prevent the person having any exposure to sunlight in the first place.
The condition itself, this xeroderma pigmentosum, we cannot cure, because this is something that she has from her creation. But we believe that we can remove these tumors that she has now, and so we can make her face much more normal. I'm not sure how completely normal, but we can improve it a lot, I think, from the present situation. What does she feel about everything what we said? Because she's been listening very carefully.
As the tumors developed to such an extreme size, they became infected and foul-smelling, forcing Lao Yang to live in isolation with her family. It's now 2 years since she last went to her local school.
那么他的困难呢，就是说他非常了，这孤独，就是说脸上有病呢，就是那么上课的时候有很多同学啊都有点怕挨着坐。他有病呢，身体有病呢，上课呢不安心，因为这个脸部啊经常有烂脓啊这些情况啊。
人家也讲，我都不想读书，我都来不动，我都不想读书了。因为我这个脸上烫了，人家都欺负我，都不读了。
Over the course of the next 2 months, Dr. Atherton hopes not only to save her life, but also to get her fit enough to return to school. This is Wubao in southeast China, home of the girl who lives in the dark. Worldwide, the incidence of melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, is rising faster than any other cancer. And 9-year-old Wan Lao Yang is a shocking example of what can happen. As the daughter of a poor laborer in a country with no national health service, her tumors have continued to grow and grow. She suffers from xeroderma pigmentosum, or XP, a rare genetic disease that made her 2,000 times more likely to contract skin cancer in the first place. But XP itself has actually revolutionized our understanding of cancer, and it's possible that Lao Yang's condition may one day be the key to finding a cure. Dr. David Atherton from Great Ormond Street Hospital has taken a week of his holiday to come to China to try to help Lao Yang before it's too late.
Would Wana like to come out now?
Yes. Yang. 出来啊.
Despite her extreme sensitivity to sunlight, the doctor needs to briefly bring her out of the dark in order to record her condition without the herbs that have been used to treat her so far.
Well, Lai Yang's condition appears to have worsened quite a bit since the last photographs were taken, and it would appear that the tumours on her face, particularly in the area of the left eye, are much larger, maybe twice the size. And the risk in the face is that the tumour will burrow into a large blood vessel, and if it's a very big blood vessel, a patient would bleed to death there and then. So time is of the essence now. She needs help, but she needs it quickly.
Up until now, the family have been mainly relying on Lao Yang's grandfather for treatment.
都开始都做瓶青霉素，做了青霉素一瓶拿来洗它，好也没好，没好呢，好了我们都背去医院了，然后他家也拿去广东打工，也拿去医，专门找钱来医他，都是你们来唱到呢，他家都搞得无来问，医师也没快回家了吧？我说了8年不得我才，哈哈你讲呢？
In fact, XP itself cannot be treated. All the herbs can do is help reduce infection in the tumours. For XP, the key is preventing exposure to sunlight in the first place. And for that, the family has had assistance from a rather unlikely source. When NASA began sending human beings into space, they had to protect them from the sun. Without the protection of Earth's atmosphere, astronauts were exposed to deadly levels of UV radiation, hundreds of thousands of times more damaging than anyone had ever faced before. To shield their astronauts, NASA had to develop spacesuits containing UV-blocking materials that were still light enough to be worn comfortably. For a child with XP, being exposed to sunlight on Earth is like being an astronaut naked on the moon. NASA used their expertise to develop solar protective suits for children with XP. They block UV light completely and also contain an interior cooling system. In 2005, an XP charity sent one to Lao Yang.
I understand earlier they had a suit which had come from the United States. I just wondered, because I haven't seen it, whether I could see what they sent her. That's the headpiece. Yeah. This is for cooling. Oh, I see. For icing. Wow.
We want to know very frankly what she thought of these.
因为打这个指定这个走这里有点疼。
It's good, but it's often hurt the face.
Does she have any questions that she wants to ask us?
都叫医生帮我治我的脸上好好的，那都是的嘞。
She said she don't have question. She just hope with your help she can get better and then come back to school.
That's what we all hope.
Lao Yang's need for surgery is so urgent that Dr. Atherton is not going to take her to Great Ormond Street. Through his contacts, he has arranged for her to receive treatment at a hospital in Shanghai. It is now impossible for her to wear her NASA sunsuit because of the extreme pressure of the visor pressing on her tumors. So the doctor is retrofitting the coach with UV filtration film, ensuring her exposure to UV radiation remains at a minimum. Like most of the villagers, Lao Yang has only ever seen the modern world on TV. Her epic journey to Shanghai will take 2 days. Her mother has had to stay behind to look after her sister, so her father is going with her. Everyone knows there's a chance that Lao Yang might not be coming home.
他不怕，他说不论如何，医生怎么说我，再怎么说我都不怕，我死都要叫医生帮我好好的搞好过来，我才跟这些小朋友一模一样，才对爸爸的那个要高兴一点。
他说给我搞这个脸上好好的，还是来这里上学。以后我嫁给人家了。
It's an 8-hour drive before they reach the nearest city. The following morning, they'll fly northeast to Shanghai. Dr. Atherton is worried that Lao Yang's shocking appearance and unpleasant smell will attract a lot of negative attention. But he has a plan to protect her on the flight.
So why doesn't she just sit? We're going to make a face mask. We'll just make a hole for her right eye and a hole for her mouth.
Oh, she said, "Oh, you want to make a hole on my face?" Yes, we say. She feels strange.
One of the reasons for using this cream, because it kills, bacteria. It's the bacteria that make the smell. So we think in the aeroplane it's probably best. Can you pull hard? Yeah, so we keep it right away from the... Just wait a minute, wait. Okay, what does everybody think?
Okay.
Something like that.
The dressing was not really easy to do because the shape of these tumours makes it very awkward. I'm be slightly embarrassed when my nurses at Great Ormond Street Hospital see my efforts, but it's not too bad. She's been very plucky because I don't suppose she's ever had anything like this put on her face before. And to her credit, she's walked around with everything showing. So she may not see the point, but I think it is in her best interest today.
Dr. Atherton is worried that even with his precautions, Lao Yang may still not be allowed onto the flight. But having just seen a plane for the very first time, Lao Yang herself might not be up to getting on it either.
She's just feeling sick, apprehensive, and we did give her something to help, but it obviously hasn't really worked.
See, I think now in many parts of the world, certainly in the UK, people have quite an understanding of diseases and they have a great acceptance for people with unusual problems. And I think that's not the case in all societies. In certain parts of the world, there may be particular fear of certain kinds of disease. For example, a condition might mimic something like leprosy, cause a person to be avoided because of fear of infection.
You know, I was anxious about getting through onto the aeroplane, but it's all gone very smoothly. And I think having her in dressings has helped. So everybody's been very pleasant and helpful. So it's good. On our way.
Tomorrow, Lao Yang will check into the hospital. But tonight will be her first night in the modern metropolis of Shanghai. With a bustling population of over 15 million and more than 4,000 skyscrapers, Shanghai is truly a 21st century city. Lao Yang's village must seem an awfully long way away. She and her father are staying with Dr. Atherton at the Grand Hyatt. It's located on the top 40 floors of the Jin Mao Tower, making it the highest hotel in the world. She can't wait to phone home. After one night in a luxury hotel, it's time for Lao Yang to go to hospital. Over the coming weeks, she'll have tests to discover just exactly what sort of tumors she has and just how deep they have burrowed. The answers will determine what sort of treatment she can have, or indeed whether it's simply too late for the hospital to help her. The doctor's week in China is almost over. Today, he will accompany Lao Yang to hospital. His knowledge of XP will help the doctors in Shanghai plan her treatment.
Yang, I'm going to go back to England tomorrow.
She said she wants you to stay here to give her treatment.
I will keep in touch with the doctors here, and I'm hoping that when she is coming to the end of her treatment that I can come back here, and then we can make plans for the future.
Before they leave for the hospital, Lao Yang rings her mother and little sister. Through Dr. Atherton's contacts, treatment has been arranged for Lao Yang at Shanghai's top children's hospital free of charge. Her case will be handled by Professor Yao. So far, he's only seen the photographs of her condition.
当时根据这个英国教授传给我的这个照片来看，手术的话，我想他的这个生命期、存活期也就是1年左右。如果进行手术的话，那么我们把这去除这个恶性肿瘤的话，如果没有远处转移，那么这个病人可能会长期存活。
The most urgent thing for the doctors to determine is whether Lao Yang's cancer has already spread to other parts of her body.
叫什么名字？
叫万老娘。
万老娘，你这个东西什么时候发出来的啊？
知道。
现在这个眼睛看不清楚有多久了
？2个月了。
还有别的不舒服吧？
没有了。
Feeling for lymph nodes, which might indicate spread of cancer beyond the face, so it's an important issue.
If the cancer has spread, there may well be very little point in surgery, but the initial outlook is positive.
The examination is good. There's no evidence of any problem anywhere else, but obviously it's quite a basic examination.
For now, the doctor's main concern is preventing Lao Yang from losing her eyesight. The team meet to decide upon a course of action. Worried that their initial examination may not have revealed the extent to which the cancer may have spread, they order a series of biopsies. This will involve removing sections of the existing tumours for analysis. But they're still hopeful that her outlook is positive.
First operation. I think the feeling at the moment is, well, yeah, optimistic. She wants to go very much to school, so that will be, you know, a big success. If she can go to school, she'll be very happy.
Because of the urgency of her situation, the biopsies will begin the very next morning. Although he's due to fly back to work, Dr. Atherton comes to check up on his patient.
Well, she's settled in hospital, and this morning they're going to take biopsies from 4 tumours on her face. She's just having the local anaesthetic injection. It's the only thing that hurts. After that, she will feel nothing. She's very brave. Yeah, it's scary. Are they talking to her, are they? For your children, you have to keep talking. Just tell them it's going to be all right.
The results of the biopsies will take the hospital about a week. But Dr. Atherton also wants to take his own skin sample back for analysis in the UK. A very small skin sample.
I want to put normal skin in here, in there, and then inward. Okay? But in 6 minutes, I have to go. So small. No. Too big. That bit's too big. You're showing me too big. Small. That's very small. Shout. 4 millimeter. Okay, it's good. Yeah, that and the half will be good. Okay, it's in. I'm going to take it back now.
The surgeons continue with Lao Yang's biopsies, but for Dr. Atherton, it's time to go.
It's not a good moment to say goodbye to her. I'm going to go. Because I think it might upset her just in the middle of this, being abandoned. So I think it's best not. Tell her afterwards I said goodbye. I'll be back soon. Doctors as a whole are optimistic people, so we're all hoping that these tumours will be removable. I mean, she won't look the way she looked before she ever had these problems, but hopefully she'll look a lot better and will be socially acceptable. One does become emotionally attached, but it's very, very important to be detached from that, because the most important thing is that her best interest should be served at all times, and it is a team effort. And I'm really happy she's been left in good hands.
Dr. Atherton has gone, but Lao Yang's tests go on. The MRI scan will determine just how much of her face has to be cut off to ensure the removal of all cancerous tissue. As the results are analysed and tests are done on the biopsies, Lao Yang stays in hospital.
We receive a tiny skin sample from the affected patient. We then take samples from that, UV irradiate it, so mimicking what happens in the sun, and then we can measure whether the damage that's produced by that ultraviolet light is repaired or whether it stays unrepaired, as in the case of XP patients.
It's through XP patients and their inability to repair the damage UV does to their DNA that scientists have come to understand how cancer kills us.
The ultraviolet light causes damage to DNA in the skin, and normal individuals have got some very efficient processes which are able to repair that kind of damage, and in XP patients the enzymes that carry out that work are not functioning properly, and what one then gets is permanent changes in the DNA molecules, and occasionally this can result in a cell losing control of its growth, and that's essentially what cancer is. It's a bit of tissue which is growing when it shouldn't do.
The tests at the university confirm that Lao Yang's tumours do indeed result from her having XP. The diagnosis means she would have always developed skin cancer unless she avoided UV exposure completely, which she didn't. Unfortunately, the tests in Shanghai have revealed that the cancer that she has is far worse than anticipated.
就是从这里，这是上颌窦对吧？上颌窦的前壁破坏掉了。然后这个肿块呢，这个鼻子的冠状面这个前面看，它很厉害的。你看它这个 从下面往上面，下面就是眼眶周围全部包住了。
对，不搞很快就死了，是吧？他这个呢，这个地方再进去就是脑子里面。
长得太快了。现在就是一个难看一个形象的。
其实现在不是说救命。
Lao Yang's father is still hopeful that everything is going to turn out well.
增强他的运气了，像的，你们做这个运气做事想得好，保证好的。
The hospital team is worried that Lao Yang's father doesn't fully appreciate the seriousness of her condition. They meet to explain to him what might lie ahead.
最好的结果就是你这个命保住了，但是你这个脸很难看。最坏的结果可能就是出不了院了，就是可能感染或者是别的，或者是转移啊，就可能就死在医院也是有可能的。
你不开刀肯定也不行的，可能是半年、1年也是走掉的。 而事实上也是，你可能今天做手术，可能明天生命得不到保障，完全有可能。但是你心中一定要注意，好事啊不一定有好的结果。
Lao Yang's father is left to decide whether he really does want the operation to go ahead. At the hospital in Shanghai, Lao Yang's father has been told that the tumors from her skin cancer have got so bad that she has very little time left to live, and that an operation is now so dangerous it may not be successful and could kill her. He decides to let the operation go ahead.
暂时不要想的那个太多了，那个心就不好，是不是？你看连我自己都身体都不行，那就不。
现在就把它给开掉，是吧？ 开掉是吧？开掉也，你不怕啊？不怕啊！开刀的风险非常大，都知道了是吧？都给你这个事情。
It's time for Lao Yang to go to surgery, but the doctors still have some worries.
当然，这个是一个高风险的这个手术，但是现在最大的挑战是清除大量的这个组织以后，这个时候可能这些伤口啊就是暴露在外面，那么对 改善他这个生活质量，可能起不到多大的作用，可能可以延长生命。另外一个，这个可能呢，他的父亲呢，我们很担心他难以接受，这么一个现实，就是大部分的面部组织被清除掉。是的，作为一个医生来讲，当然希望的是提高这个患者的这个生情质量，但是当这个病人的生命受到威胁的时候，我想最主要的还是挽救病人的生命。
This will be the hospital's most complicated operation since they successfully separated conjoined twins. Back at Great Ormond Street Hospital, Dr. Atherton, the man who set the treatment into motion, knows what lies ahead for Lao Yang.
Well, I think they'll be prepared for quite a long operation because the tumour, the main tumour, is big. And they have to get as much of it out as possible.
But getting rid of the tumour is not simply a matter of slicing it off.
They have to check when they think it's complete whether it, they have removed everything. And send material for examination under the microscope, and they'll have to sit around waiting for that information to come back. And when they have that, they may have to go through that cycle again. So it can take many, many hours to do this kind of surgery. Of course, when they've finished removing tumours, they then are going to try to repair a very big hole that she'll have in her face. And that is really a whole second operation.
Because of the size of the hole, the doctors decide to patch it up with skin from her abdomen. All the blood vessels need to be successfully reattached. The operation takes all night. It's 5 days before Lao Yang's bandages can be removed. Photographs are sent to Dr. Atherton.
The bandages have just come off,
So for the first time we're able to see exactly what has been done. Sadly, her nose has been largely removed and her left eye has been removed, and a thick graft has been placed into the defect. It's been done rather neatly, but the colour of the graft is not very good. It should be pink, implying that there's good blood flow. The feeling is that this graft is not going to take, but one can always be wrong.
Unfortunately, Dr. Atherton is correct. The graft receives insufficient blood and dies. It has to be slowly removed. 3 days later, the doctor receives new photographs of Lao Yang's condition.
She won't look very good, but she will look better than she did when she left the village.
The hospital do indeed perform a second operation. This time attempting to line the hole in the left-hand side of Lao Yang's face with a thin skin graft from her leg. 1 week after the operation takes place, Dr. Atherton returns to Shanghai to see the results, but all has not gone entirely to plan. The surgery has probably prevented her imminent demise. Lao Yang has lost her left eye and her nose. Her right eye has been saved.
Hello. Hello, how are you? Very good. In medicine, things don't always turn out the way you hope. The kind of overwhelming feeling is one of of disappointment, really, that Lao Yang isn't going home in better condition. But she's definitely going home with her tumours removed, but her face still, very unsightly.
Before Lao Yang leaves hospital, Dr. Atherton wants to provide her with some extra protection.
This is to protect her from the sunlight, but also at the moment it would help to protect her from cold wind, which we think will make her more comfortable, her eye and her nose. But the main purpose of this is to be a screen for ultraviolet light. Looks good.
There we are, a beautiful day.
After 8 weeks, Lao Yang has finally left the hospital and is almost ready to return home. But Dr. Atherton is not sure that she's convinced it's all been worthwhile.
Is there any difference now in her comfort? Is she more comfortable, less comfortable, or just the same? To improve her appearance, one possibility is to make her an artificial piece to go into this hole. This is something to investigate if she's interested in that.
I would think she'll get back to normal life pretty quickly, and children don't take much time to recover. In fact, with a bit of luck, her face will be healed within the next couple of weeks, and hopefully she'll be accepted back at school. Her appearance isn't hugely improved, but at least it's a dry wound. It's not weeping, it's not bleeding, it doesn't smell. Maybe that would be very important, and it won't attract flies in the summer months. So maybe all will be well.
The doctor has done his best, but Lao Yang's future is still uncertain. Now, after 2 months away from home, she's heading back to Wubao and hoping to fulfill her aim of returning to school. The family are a little reluctant to let others in the village see Lao Yang's wound. Later, the translator who helped Dr. Atherton shows them some pictures of prosthetics that the doctor has emailed to show them what is possible.
然后待会讲，你看这鼻子像真的鼻子一样的，这女的也是这个样子，对，然后一做来，也像。
Lao Yang will have to wait until her wound cures, until she can be fitted with a prosthetic. But the following morning is her first day in school for over 2 years. Dr. Atherton has sent the school the latest UV blocking filters to ensure that it's a safe environment for her to be in.
OK. Tổng đa tiền hay qua số của tôi tổng đa nó có số ít cơ hơn. Ông phải xử lý tổng đa này.
多对啊！大家欢迎啊！我们万能人来了啊！就是说，等一下，我看到同学最做得快，又快又对又好啊。然后呢？
我想的是可能这没有这抢这回来，有人能够抢救我小孩。
看一看
我也从来没想到这个地步呢。现在到这个地步来，我就很满意。
早年嘛，但那么媳妇个，到这媳妇个，那在那我个盼老娘大点娘盼个那老么开么家么还我要让些路我还让些大我还让些大个呢。
坐来。
For Lao Yang to be able to go back to school was all that everyone had hoped for. And with her tumors gone, she is close to being able to live the life of a normal child again. But the painful reality is, the hospital in Shanghai discovered that because the tumors had been left untreated for so long, the cancer had spread into Lao Yang's body, and her final happier days may be sadly cut short.
There are serious doubts about her survival in the longer term, but there is still reason to believe that she might do better than everybody is fearing. The real problem is that all this was done so late. They would have been so simple to remove when they were small, and to be able to prevent all these complications that have occurred. Yeah, quietly, I have got my fingers crossed that all will be well for her. But we know because of her xeroderma pigmentosum she won't survive forever. But it is a variable feast, and she might have 10 years of happy life left to her with a bit of luck, but she might not.
Despite Lao Yang's short life expectancy, her legacy may be far-reaching. XP, the genetic disease that seems likely to cut her life so tragically short, revolutionized our understanding of how cancer acts on our DNA and kills us. Lao Yang's skin cells will be kept frozen for the next 30 years, and it's possible that in the future they'll be the key to finding a cure to a disease that affects us all.
接下来，从闪避巨无霸喷射机到抵挡暴风雪，工程师们面临迁移2座庞大建筑物的艰巨挑战。建筑物大搬家，移动高塔，接着播出。